The journey to the moon. The blue sky grew darker and darker, as if suddenly night was falling. The stars were shining from the deep blackness of the universe. Far below the mouse in his space capsule, the continents of planet Earth whirled past, and the oceans shone in the sunlight. "Like a beautiful blue-green jewel," whispered the little mouse admiringly. He released his safety belt. The force of the movement was no longer pressing him back into his seat. In fact, it was the opposite. He now floated weightlessly around the little capsule, accompanied by his helmet and a few bits of cheese. "Next stop, the moon," he announced in a loud and cheerful voice, although there was no one to hear him. He could see the moon through his peephole, small and round. It hung in front of the starry sky. But as each day passed, it became bigger, and soon it no longer fit in the tiny window. One small step for a mouse. The little mouse's voyage through the dark void of space took 3 days. By now the moon was very large indeed. Its flowery white surface was covered with craters, some big and others small. They were really nothing like cheese holes. The little mouse floated into his pilot's seat and fastened his safety belt. He would begin his landing procedure shortly. The engine swirled up a cloud of gray dust. Then the space capsule landed, and with a beating heart and a marveling mind, the little mouse unbolted the hatch. With unexpected ease, the little mouse bounced over the dusty surface of the moon. Tiny hops turned into giant leaps up here. He studied the craters all around the spot where he had landed, and he examined the moon rock. "I'll take this piece of stone with me," he squeaked, "as evidence to show the other mice." After many hours of research, he climbed back into his space capsule. Without a sound, the flying machine took off. Left behind were countless paw prints and one very special flag. After 3 days, the little mouse returned to planet Earth. He didn't need his rocket anymore. With a quiet hissing sound, it freed itself and floated silently away. The tip of the space capsule went plunging toward Earth, and the capsule began to glow. The return of the moon mouse. The space capsule, now somewhat blackened, slid down through the clouds on 3 red parachutes. Inside sat a very relieved little mouse. "I'm home again," he cried joyfully. Bump! The capsule hit the ground. The little mouse unfastened his safety belt and unbolted the hatch. Fresh air gushed into the capsule. He stuck his head through the round opening, and what he saw then moved him almost to tears. Welcome back, Moon Mouse. One big step for mankind. The little mouse was very happy. His mission had been a complete success. It was not long before the story of his space adventure was being told to mice all over the country. There was not a mouse who now believed the moon was made of cheese. And the humans? Most of them knew absolutely nothing about all the excitement in the mouse world. However, just a few were soon sitting with whirling brains over the mouse-sized rocket designs, and in due course they also came up with a wonderful plan. And so, on July 21st, 1969, the first human stepped onto the surface of the moon. But scarcely anyone knows what he found there. Of course, there were some who knew about the little moon mouse, and they named him Armstrong. That way, he had the same name as the first man to step on the moon, and that meant that nobody could possibly give away the secret by accident. Because whenever anyone asked who had been the first to step on the moon, the answer was simply Armstrong. The end.